Hello everyone, I'm currently checking if the stream is working properly and mhm, seems like it's a yes. So definitely it works. That's great. Nice to meet you all and welcome back to this new episode named Libre Analytics, which is here in order to talk about free software web analytics environment and in particular Matomo, as it is the solution that I know the best. The idea is just to have 30 minutes, no more, giving you the latest news that I found out about this given market so that you can, of course, stay up to date, get the latest information, and maybe get in contact with the community or myself in order to get more information. The menu of today is the following one. I'm just gonna share you my screen like this and like this. So the idea of the menu of the day is to introduce the new premium feature which have been launched by Matomo Analytics some weeks ago, named Crash Analytics. Then I will talk about the evolution of the, let's say, speaker conferences submissions. So Matomo Camp is the yearly event about Matomo. It will be held on November the 9th and November the 10th, and we received so far many talks proposal that I would like to share with you so that you can get a foretaste of what's coming from Matomo Camp. Then I will do a quick update about the growing up community on LinkedIn about the Matomo Camp group. Then I will talk about the Matomo Camp plugin development competition. I will then go to Matomo version 5. I will introduce you quickly about the last Udemy course I released, and I will make a quick focus on an event I will take part to, which is named Les Folies Web, French event, but free to attend. Double checking here. Okay, I'm still showing up my screen, so that's great. And let's get started. So, big news in the Matomo community with the launch of a premium feature named Crash Analytics. I have to say it was a real surprise because, let's say, no one was expecting this plugin to be launched. It's a really interesting plugin as it goes with the set of premium features such as media analytics, such as form analytics, activity log as well. So the idea is that you implement this given plugin, so it's a paid plugin, and then Matomo is automatically doing the work for you. What does Crash means? It means that it's gonna push you within Matomo all the different errors messages that you may face. So probably better to make let's say a quick demo about it. So in my case, I installed it on my personal website. It's a WordPress website, but the problem is that probably the template that I have is kind of well done, so it's not pushing any error messages. So what I decided to do is that I implemented it on a big website. Okay, I took the JavaScript code of Matomo and I inserted it on a big website so that it can push information to my system. So in my case, I use this big name website in France, and I injected through the user CSS and JavaScript extension the Matomo tag manager tag so that it can push let's say error messages that it's gonna find out. If you look through the inspect mode of a famous browser such as Chromium or such as Firefox, you will see that you're gonna get some messages, some error messages that you wish to find afterward within the Crash Analytics system of Matomo. So to go back to the premium feature, it has its own UI, so it's interesting to see that it will just be below the goals. category, and just below the goal categories you're going to get something named crash, and you're going to get a report named real time, in which, as its name stands for it, you will get the different crash pairing. So as you may see on my screen, or if you are just listening, you will see that this given podcast, this given premium feature will in fact send the different error messages to Matomo within some reports, and that it gives you straight away the location of the different crashes on your website, so that you can easily investigate it and know what it is about. So it's really a useful and powerful plugin, explaining you as well if the error is from your side or from an external script. That's really powerful. It really fits the needs. I heard already people saying that, okay, but we can definitely do the same thing with Matomo Tag Manager by defining a trigger based on error messages. Yes, you can definitely do so and send those error messages as events, but it's going to create a confusion with all your events that you are collecting. So it's of course far better to have a dedicated reports to list in fact those reverse and those crashes. And in addition to that, if you look at the documentation of Crash Analytics, it's telling you that it's not only for JavaScript errors, but as well for PHP, and as well for application tracking. So to say, it's as well suitable for iOS and Android apps, which of course make it far more powerful than just a single tag manager thing, because the tag manager is just JavaScript oriented, and it's not supporting in fact the other programming languages, and that was an issue because we couldn't have a tag manager within iOS apps and Android app. And if you look at the description over here, it's saying cross-stack proficiency. So it's not just about JavaScript. Crash Analytics is your ally in tackling server-side crashes too, either PHP, Android, iOS, Java, and more. So a really powerful plugin. And here let's say the speech to sale from the Matomo team is that some studies shows that 13% of page views of a website are having errors, and those errors can lead to, let's say, a decrease of your turnover, or let's say missing opportunities. And that by fixing those errors, you can easily get an increase of 13% of your sales. Of course, here I guess it really depends on the type of website that you have, the type of error, but definitely it's worth the try to have a look at it and be easily see if those errors make sense or not, and if you need to correct them. Unfortunately, I didn't have played enough with this premium feature in order to tell you that it works at 100%, but I think it's at least worth the try to put it on your website for at least 15 days or 30 days, just the trial period, let's say, and to ask, of course, for a refund if there's no error at all, which are pushed. But you don't risk anything, I will say, by giving it a try, because it's true that the errors, the crashes which are pushed, may lead to, let's say, less sales on your website, or less conversions on your website. That's everything that I wanted to say about the Crash Premium feature. So just to sum it up, it's premium features, you need to pay for it. The price is kind of affordable compared to other premium features. Yeah, and that's it. Of course, it's well integrated with many other features of Matomo. So if you go within the dashboard part, you can easily add a widget which is about crashes. You can as well easily use it for the custom alerts, for schedule report, and so many other reports. Okay, next topic is about Matomo Camp. So Matomo Camp all the video recording of edition 2021 and 2022 have been released. They are all available on video.matomocamp.org, so you can review all the past conferences here. Many languages, French, English, German, Italian. For edition 2023, just to make a summary, so 114 potential speakers have been contacted. Out of all those profiles that we contacted, we got so far 21 proposals, so 21 conferences which are for sure. Just to give you a comparison, in 2021 we had 32 proposals. In 2022 we had 43 proposals, and in general we tend to receive most of the proposal during the last weeks. So currently we are 6 weeks ahead. So I'm pretty sure that we can go up to 43, 42 proposals. So as in 2022. Having 42 proposals, if all speakers can attend, means that we can have 3 conferences in parallel, means that we can put a lot of hope into having local languages. So it means that we can have 2 conferences in English in parallel, so that you can choose the topic of your choice. And then you can also choose a conference in a local language. So currently we received some talk in French, German, English, and we received our first talk in Finnish. We are currently actively looking for conferences in any local language that we haven't yet heard at Matomo Camp. So if you know Chinese, if you know Japanese, if you know Spanish, if you know Dutch, if you know any local language, I would say that we never had the chance of having at Matomo Camp, even if it seems to you kind of a basic introduction to Matomo that you would offer. Please send us a talk proposal. High chances that we will accept it, because we really need to address any members of the Matomo Camp community. About the different conferences that which have been already let's say validated for year 2023. So we're gonna have some conferences about artificial intelligence, which is of course the hot topic, but as well we have some use case study about Matomo. We may also, it's currently in process, to have conferences about privacy, and we really hope that Max Schrems will be at Matomo Camp in order to introduce us about the last data transfer, let's say, agreements which have been made between the European Union and the United States. We got in contact as well with some other free software, either analytics or solution, which may be linked with Matomo or could be associated with an organization ecosystem, such as Post.org, such as Nextcloud, such as Work Adventure. We really hope that all those conferences will be held at Matomo Camp, so that we can introduce to you all those different solution. Big news as well. So we now have a growing up Matomo Camp community group on LinkedIn. So the idea of this LinkedIn group, of course, is to share knowledge, information about Matomo and Matomo Camp in particular. When contacting members on LinkedIn, I was really surprised to see that there was many members who never heard about Matomo Camp before, and it means that communicating about Matomo Camp is not that easy, and that we need to keep going in our effort in order to reach as many people as possible. So my wish is actually that we can reach probably 500 members for next Matomo camp. Taking into consideration that the first edition of Matomo camp was about 1,000 connection, we already know that we have at least around 1,000 people which may be interested in knowing more about Matomo camp and sharing and communicating better with the others. I have to say that it takes a lot of energy to prospect and find potential speakers for Matomo camp. So having this community as well on LinkedIn can really help in finding new speakers, in finding potential, let's say, developers willing to take part to development competition. Talking about development competition, we updated the website of Matomo Camp in order to give more information about the competition that we are holding during, let's say, the pre-part of Matomo Camp. So it started on August 9th and will end up in October the 31st. The idea is that anyone on Earth can develop a plugin for Matomo and then send us an email in order to say that she or he would like to participate to the Matomo Camp plugin development competitions. Any plugin is accepted. There are prices. So the first place is that you get 200 euros in cash and bundle premium pack worth 4,499 euros. So to say, close to 5,000 euro of prices if you get the first position. Dealing with the second place, it will be more than 3,000 euro, and dealing with the last place, it will be more than 1,500 euros. So great prizes to win, even if you are not, let's say, a Matomo user, or even if you do not wish to use those bundles, that's kind of easy to resell them to someone else. I would like to thank once more the Matomo team for sponsoring this competition and giving the opportunity to anyone on Earth to take part to this competition. We released as well, or at least I released personally, free access to 2 courses that I created on Udemy. Those courses are for free, so you can go on udemy.com with the coupon name Matomo Camp, and you can look for the 2 courses that I created, one about the theme and one about plugin development, because the theme is a plugin. And from there you can already start to learn about how you can create some plugins. And then, so those are the courses. And then if you attend those courses, then you're already able to create a plugin. So far I contacted all the plugin developers, the one already created some plugin on the marketplace of Matomo. I haven't yet received any plugin. So we got, in fact, our first plugin last week. Well, the plugin has been made by myself in order to, let's say, kickstart the competition and at least have one project that I detail and that I already listed on the marketplace of Matomo. And this plugin is is named Segment Authorization. The idea of this plugin came from a LinkedIn community member, and the idea of this plugin is that the super user can easily set up the authorization for the different, let's say, user can decide who has the right to create a segment or not. Because as you may know, with Matomo, if anyone creates some segments, sometimes you can have some performance issues. So the idea is that the super user can easily, from the admin, set up who can access to the creation of the segment. So anyone can, of course, use segment. It's just that the creation will just be tailored specifically to the one who have a specific authorization. If you go on the LinkedIn group, you will see that there is a post which has been pinned on the main on the group. And you have different comments which have been added to this pin, and in fact the comments are used in order to submit some plugin development IDs. So I'm currently working on the second ID that I suggest, which is about the possibility to submit some some annotation as a bulk within Matomo. So you may know that in Matomo, if you want to create an annotation, you need to make it one by one. And here the idea of this plugin that I created over here is that you can in fact import a list of many annotation, for example, that you got in a spreadsheet directly within Matomo. So if you go on the LinkedIn group, you will find the link on which I'm explaining how I currently creating this plugin, and then of course how you can create as well your own plugin, and how you can create a user interface in order to be able to use the Matomo API. And probably today, if I have some time, I will try to work on the idea that Peter Marcus suggested, which is about creating a report which will measure the page size of different pages that you have on your website, and calculate the amount of I don't know how to say it, but carbon oxide, I mean how much energy it took, and let's say how green is your website. So that's the next plugin I will probably work on, so as trying to develop RSS widget selection feed. But of course, anyone can in fact take those IDs, develop their own plugins, submit it to the plugin development competition, so that anyone can have a chance to get those prizes that I was showing you. Next information. So what about Matomo version 5? So Matomo version 5 has not yet been released, though if you are using Matomo as a development mode, you will see that you have the possibility to use the last version of Matomo because you can install beta release. So currently Matomo version 5 is currently in its beta version 5. I have seen some minor changes, but I'm not 100% sure that they were linked with the version 5 of Matomo, or if they were linked with something else. The one that I could notice is the fact that when you create a token now, it's even more secure, so you have the possibility to indicate if it's going to be for post-only requests or not. So of course all the community is waiting for this version 5 to be released, and as you can see over here, I mean, you can view it on GitHub. There's not many tickets open left, so I'm pretty sure that it will be integrated soon. Though I received a notification on Weblate this morning telling us that some translations are missing. So if you really would like to help the community, or maybe help version 5, because maybe that's the part which is blocking, I don't know, please subscribe to the Weblate website in order to suggest some translation, because as far as I understood, there's a lot of strings which are missing. Just gonna have a quick look here at the French version to see how much is missing for the big version. Okay, I don't know, translated strings waiting for reviews. Okay, more of the feeling that they are looking for the French version for proofreader rather than translating one. So here I'm talking, of course, just for myself, but we received a notification this morning saying that, hey, please if you would like to help the community, just help us translate Matomo. Next big thing I wanted to explain or show to you is the last release of the courses that I made on Udemy. So the next course, and probably the last one I will release for this end of the summer, is the full course about an introduction to Matomo for Android and iOS mobile app tracking. So probably by today I will be able to release the last fixes that Udemy is asking me to. In order to have this full course released, the cost will be quite low, probably less than $20, which is the minimum, plus the discount that Udemy offers. So probably that will be worth $10. Dealing with the community that we can get from Udemy, if you are interested in knowing about how many people are on Udemy looking for Matomo courses. Not that many, I would say, but there are some. So just to give you an idea, in a month, there are probably like 20 potential students that you can get by posting courses about Matomo. Of course, the more popular are kind of always the same one, the tag manager and the full story about Matomo. When it comes to specialty, it's of course very difficult to target the right audience. That's almost the same thing when it comes to ebooks. So I'm mostly running for about 10 books sold per month. And the market, if you are interested in those information, the market which are mostly looking for information about Matomo, they are always the same. It's Sweden, Germany, or Germany, Sweden, France, and Italy as well. So those are, let's say, the 4, 5, let's say, if we need to add a fifth one, that will maybe be Denmark or Switzerland. Sometimes it's as well United States, but just to let you know, the one leading the game, the one that I'm seeing the most is really Sweden, Germany, and France. And last but not least, because we are now close to 30 minutes, I just would like to say that next Thursday I will make a free webinar about how to use Matomo at Live Fully Web. It's going to be in French. It's going to be for entrepreneurs. And feel free when you are organizing, sorry for that, when you are organizing webinars to just go on the Matomo Camp group and share those information with the community, and we will of course share it back. And that's it for this second podcast of Libre Chronicles Analytics. You have no idea about when the next podcast will be. Probably when the launch of version 5 of Matomo will be. That will probably be as well just before Matomo Camp, or maybe just after the Matomo Camp. That's what I'm trying to say here, that we're gonna have another podcast in November. Hope you enjoy this podcast and have all a good day.